Welcome to Work the Left Side. I'm hyper hyped to announce I am joined tonight by the Yorkshire Wildcard himself, Mr. Ernest Boggs. How are we doing, sir? You good?
Hey up, I'm doing really good, lad. Yourself?
Mate, I am 5x5, too blessed to be stressed. So it's all good, man. It's all good. Obviously, first of all, thank you for coming on. Thanks for having a chat. Sitting down with me to talk all the awesomeness that is wrestling. So, obviously, we got to see you in action in person recently over in York at True Grit. Let's just we'll start there. How was that? Obviously, you was in the True Grit Rumble at Left Bank. This was the first time I've seen you in a one-on-one match at True Grit. So that must have been. How did you find it all?
So obviously, when I first got into the business, True Grit was always somewhere that appealed to me. Once I found the gimmick that is the Yorkshire Wildcard, True Grit was one of the first places I wanted to go there. As soon as I saw the advertisements for their shows and stuff, so helping out with those shows and stuff, and then getting asked to be a part of the Rumble, God, over the moon, stuff like that, and I'm there right. I know I might be a while before I'm back, but then all of a sudden, you got Sean Only. Get to York, the capital. Sign me up. Perfect.
That's really it, exactly. You've got to be anywhere, but that's it, And it was a key match as well, really, because it was Sean Only's first match after his end of feud with Billy O'Keefe, that last man standing match. Obviously he was coming into it pissed off, basically, as Sean Only normally is, more so than usual. And then, you had the task of trying to calm the beast, slay the tiger. And, mate, I mean, obviously from a fan's perspective, very 50-50, you held your own. You got a Boldy chant going, gave his head a slap a few times.
That's practice. So my own family, my dad's bald. So every time I just take the mic, it's just little plat around the air, the whole polish your head sort of deal. So it's all practice.
That's it. Just second nature now, isn't it? You see a bald head.
It is. It's like the drums. If you're playing bongos.
We'll have to get you a triple threat match with just three bald people. And there'll be a spot where they're all down in front of you. You can just bong along.
See if we can get the sound guy to play the best one, the Mule by Deep Purple. That'd be a pelter drum solo.
That's it. And you're just there That'd be awesome. Oh, mate. I need to see that happen now. When you just say stuff, you think, oh, and then you kind of I really need to see that now. It's got to happen at some point. So any promoter out there, please put Mr. Boggs against three other slapheads. Purely for that moment. We just need that moment at some point.
Oh, if that happens, man, I think I'd just corpse. I'd be dead before the match even started. I couldn't hack it.
Yes. Just like British wrestling. Finished it, mate. Completed it. Done.
Absolutely. Mate, some of the best moments in British wrestling are just the silliest thing ever. And it gets...
That's it, mate. That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, as much as we love the technical stuff, the pure stuff, mate, we need the silly stuff as well. We need it all. We need that entertainment. It's awesome. But yeah, mate, I'm hopefully, we'll see you back at True Grit again sort of soon. I know they've got obviously the roster of people they use on a regular basis, but they've got a good supporting cast as well. And I think, you fit that very, very well kind of thing. So, I'd love to sort of see you coming back in. I'm not going to segue into me fantasy booking, you versus you, whoever kind of thing. But
fire away, mate. I'm happy. I like hearing these names. It's good because it means there's people want to see these things. I'm all for it. I'll take on anyone that wants it.
Dude, I just think there's a lot of, you versus HT Drake would be a match I'd be very, very excited to see. I think you two guys would just, tear it up.
That is a good one. That is a very, very good one. And that's one of your other baldies that you're on about.
Yep. See, I'm divided one.
Your mind is fixed on just having some bald people wrestle me.
Well, we got Sean Only, HT Drake, Vuzic. I think some other ones that joined the episode. I'm just going to say random names throughout the episode. We're like,
mate, I love it. Just turned into a battle royal at the end of it, but instead of your typical battle royal rules, it'll just be everyone's just trying to get rid of me.
No, dude, it'd be like we could have like a gauntlet match. You're the first one in, and like it's just a line of boldies come running out, and it's not pinfall or submission, but to win, to eliminate them, you've got to slap them on the head.
Perfect. Not even a pinfall, even better.
No, just a whack on the head. That's it. But obviously, yeah, we talked True Grit. You know, I said before I hit record, you know, I was talking like I sort of watched your matches at PCW, watched your match against T-Bone at Rascals. You know, there's Target Wrestling, there's Zero Limits. Yeah, dude, you're getting yourself around. It sort of seems to be, you know, you're building momentum. That's the key word. Is, you know, the momentum. You seem to be sort of. Again, though, I think, you know, I'm speaking from this side, just looking through your socials and the pictures and the reels. Mate, you've been putting the effort in, you know, not to be smirched, but you look at you like 2 or 3 years ago, like, you know, how long you've been around, and you're looking more and more and more like a professional wrestler now.
Oh, mate, just say it. I was fat 3 years ago.
I didn't want to say that.
Just say it. I was fat. It's true. No, so that
no, you've worked hard, man, and you missed a vein. You know, it's all about the veins and stuff now.
Yeah. I've actually before this, I actually went to the gym before this, so you've got the fresh pub here.
There we go.
But no, I credit that to a lot of my time I spend a lot of my time in Scotland sometimes. So I credit Davey Blaze for helping out with like routines and stuff like that. So he helped me get a routine, eating better, stuff like that. And in the space of about 2 weeks to a month, 2 stone, gone.
Wow.
Like straight up gone. So genuinely, I credit a lot of the Scotland scene for helping elevate me and my work ethic. 100%.
Oh, mate, yeah, because, you know, anytime I've ever had the pleasure of speaking to anyone north of the border, I always sort of say, man, you know, that I know we're passionate about wrestling here. You know, we've got some crazy fans and everything like that. But anybody who gets a chance to work up in Scotland, you know, I'm always like, mate, you've got to go to Scotland. You've got to, you know, try and get a booking up there or something, because the fans are just fucking rabid. You know, it's just
fans are rabid, but also the wrestlers are so like passionate. Like, you see a massive the English scene is good as it is. But when you go up Scotland, it's like going from like there, which is quite a high bar, to like there. It's like such a stark difference, and they're genuinely the loveliest people you'll ever meet in the wrestling scene. 100%.
Good. Fully agree. Right, seeing as we're talking about different promotions and the scenes and all this kind of sort of stuff, let's get the generic box ticked. So, what kind of? I've heard so many different answers to this. I'm always curious as to what people will say. What made you take them steps, those first few steps through the training school doors? You know, what made you think, oh, you know, I want to be a wrestler. I can do this.
So I'll start off with the basics bit. So I had an interest in wrestling when I was younger. I'll start off with that. So I was 13, 14, got into it through the John Cena meme, you know the one, the blooming do. I got into it through that. But then during high school, I kept it quiet for a long time because of the whole thingy. But then when I was in university, started watching it again. And then I always say it's an accident, but I've started to call it more fate. That's where I actually met Rossi Rascal. I met him in an acting class in Bolton. And I was just curious because I was starting to watch it again. So I asked him about where does he train. At the end of the class, told me about the PCW Academy. And he's on about this white collar thing that they do. So it's like you pay for 8 weeks of train. You get 8 weeks of training. You sell as many tickets as you can, and that money that you make from tickets goes to charity. But I thought, I'm not going to do that because I want to see if I like it rather than pay for something I'm not sure about. About a week or two later, there was an open day, and now 3 years from then, here I am. Like
So,
complete. Sorry.
so we're crediting obviously PCW, the PCW Academy as being kind of like your starting point.
I mean, heavily credit CJ Banks. heavily credit the man. What a guy.
Obviously PCW. I mentioned watching your match against T-Bone. I know back in the day he was heavily involved with PCW and stuff like that as well. So that must have been. But obviously that match was at Rascals.
He still is.
Yeah.
Oh,
lovely guy as well. I spoke to him for years, but yeah, I love T-Bone. I used to speak to him.
Absolute gentleman. Looks like he could kill you. Once you see him, he's such a gentleman. Want that rematch?
That's it. Because that's it. Well, just because obviously that's the thing with you. Obviously having the Yorkshire Wildcard, character. You automatically. I mean, I know when you was announced at True Grit, Paul Stewart was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen Ernest Boggs," but whenever I've seen him, he's been heel kind of thing. So I was like, "Well, I've obviously got to be over in Lancashire. You can't be the Yorkshire Wildcard and be a heel in Yorkshire. It's got to be over the other side."
You'd be surprised. So I have worked face in Lancashire once or twice. Very peculiar. I'm not. I know, mental. But I've worked. Where have I worked? That's been face. Two places I've worked has been Tenacious Wrestling Alliance (TWA) and LWF, but again, technicality because they were working in my hometown in Settle. So, bit of a loophole with that, but counts. Lancashire Wrestling Federation in Yorkshire. Okay, bit of a push. Worked it. But apart from that, 99% of the time, it is I'm a heel in Lancashire, in Yorkshire, God's hero.
Yes, the man. But obviously, again, watching your matches and stuff like that, got to shout it out because one of the matches after you watched was yourself against Priscilla, at PCW. Obviously, True Grit have a show this Friday, and it's been announced it's Priscilla's last.
I know.
At True Grit, win or lose, the Queen of the Ring. It will be, not ever seen again at True Grit, which is devastating. But yeah, I love Priscilla. I think it's been around for many, many, many years. An icon of British wrestling, a leader within the scene, kind of thing. But again, also I know very heavily involved in PCW over the last few years, so that must have been a very cool match to have.
So I've wrestled that match that you saw was the second time I've worked Priscilla. The first time was I can't remember where it was, but it was for PCW, and that was about a good year or two ago. But having that match again with the levels being different for where I am now, it was much better, and especially because Priscilla was around when I was getting my foot in, and Priscilla had a lot of time for me, like asking questions and stuff like that. So genuinely, it's a massive shame seeing that it'll be the last match in True Grit.
Yeah.
But genuinely, I'm really happy I've been able to work Priscilla all the time. Easy.
Because I mean, looking through your opponents, like I sort of said, for somebody as well, So I mean, I've actually put a timeline on it, kind of thing. So when you stepped through the doors, was that sort of about 3 years ago? Because I know we sort of made the joke about getting into shape and everything like 3 years ago. Was it about 3 years ago then that you started, or?
So it was March 5th, 2022.
Shit, so yeah, just over 3 years.
Just over 3 years ago now. That was when I got my start in. That's when I started at PCW. I think it was about 6 months after I started training, I had my first match. And then first singles was a couple of weeks after that. And then I've lost track of a good chunk of it. Like, I used to have, on my old laptop, I had a booklet of like matches and kept track of everything. But then it started getting to a point where I got lost track and started getting busy. It's like, I've forgotten now.
You can't go back down that rabbit hole.
I'm a simple Yorkshireman. I can't keep track of all these things.
As long as you get paid, that's all you need to keep track of.
Yeah. 100%.
But I mean, looking like I say, I've mentioned T-Bone, Priscilla, obviously Sean Only. But I was looking through the Insta, and another name that jumped out at me was Billington. the British Bulldogs son. You had a match against
nephew,
Sorry,
Mark Billington. No, Billington. I genuinely is one of my favourite matches. Genuinely one of my favourite matches, 100%. So, that one was like I didn't expect that match, but of course, cut the promo stuff like that and all that sort of jazz. Oh, he hits hard. He hits hard, but it's good. It was like oof, and then I was like, go on, bang. It like genuinely like Mark Billington, top guy. I hope he's well. I hope he's doing fantastic.
Dude, that's the thing as well, because you can kind of imagine that old school mindset. He's not going to mess about. His uncle had a reputation for being working snug. So
I don't care. He's fantastic. Again, I'd rather get hit hard. Like it gives me something to work on, in a sense. Because again, if again you got to be hit hard to know what it is to be a wrestler. So I prefer that sort of style where if you're snug, it's much better.
Dude. So we're talking, the wild card kind of character. So again, this is always something I would say there's only one generic question, but it kind of leads to another one, which is, the kind of when you first got into wrestling, did you kind of have that kind of a character in mind, or did you kind of just go in and sort of see, what kind of came naturally? Because I presume, nobody kind of knows what kind of wrestler they're going to be. I can kind of, what kind of wrestler you want to be, but you might not be able to do what you want to do, and something else comes a bit more natural, so you kind of veer off. So
when I got my start, I had the generic thing of it's go in and find out all the time. So I started off your typical white meat babyface, Amazon tights, all that sort of gubbins. You know the shtick of a typical stuff, right? But then I, for a brief stint, went to the Top Rope Academy when it was in Burnley at the time. And I was told you needed a gimmick, like you needed something to resonate to, or like a niche that works for you. So then on my drive back, because I was proper thinking about it, I'm like, I really do. And it was stumping me. It got me. And I'm like, right, what do I need to do? What do I need to think? So on my drive back, and as I'm crossing through the Lancashire border, and they're like staring me right in the face. They saw the white rose. I'm like, perfect, right? And then from there it started to develop into Yorkshire Wildcard, Ernest Boggs, all that sort of jazz. But in the sense of your moves you were on about, I used to do springboards. Funny enough, used to do springboards, but every time I did them in a match, went wrong completely, so I stopped doing them.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You always want to do something. You kind of got something in your head that you want to do, and you're determined to do it. But at some point, you've just got to be like, okay, that's not happening.
Yeah.
What comes more naturally?
Plus, the other thing is like, yes, you might be able to do them like good, but there's someone else that can do it 10 times better. So if you work something that you can do fantastically, do that 100%. So I go for the more aggressive. I try and do some like old school British style mixed with like regal sort of stuff.
Yes.
So like you see me working heel in wherever, I put my forearm in the chin for a pin, stuff like that. I try and be as aggressive as I can be, all that sort of jazz. Like the aggressive style feels like my kind of niche, and I feel like I present that quite well. Obviously, I'm still young in this business, and I've still got a lot to learn, but I'm always up for it. And if it means working with good people, that's always a good thing for me.
Definitely. Obviously, James Mason would be another name to shout out, because that dude is just. Obviously, I've seen him at True Grit a few times. Still blows my mind, like when he's been at True Grit. I've seen him help take the ring down after a show, and I'm just like,
he's a one-man ring crew. Like every time we come to a show, every time he comes to a show, it's like we're offered to help him get some stuff upstairs or like carry bits to the area that the ring needs to be put in. After that, he's like, all right, I'm all right. You got this. Starts putting the ring up himself. Those posts as well, they are not light. That is like pure metal. Yeah, and it takes like 2 of us to carry it. Him? Nah, you're all weak. Bye. He's a machine. He's just a machine, but he's one of the best.
What an absolute
Oh,
dude. That's why, yeah, I had to mention. I was like, the other names that I mentioned, I'd be like, yeah, I'd be totally amiss if I didn't, drop
I
that name.
genuinely loved the pleasure of working him. Had the absolute pleasure of working him. So like where I will train, my coach calls him the exam of British wrestling. It's true, and you think you're good, but then you wrestle him and you see where you're at in your levels. If you can if you can hang, it's true, holds true. Mason is genuinely still the reason why British wrestling is as good as it is because he has a bar and it's above a lot of wrestling.
So yeah, I've seen him, like I say, a few times at True Grit, and it's just one of those names that you just kind of like, if you know, but if you don't know, you'll soon learn when you see him. It's like,
Oh,
oh, okay, yep.
oh
I
yeah,
wasn't aware of him beforehand, but instant respect kind of thing. It's just like,
oh heavily. Like I think can't remember the first time I met Mason. It had been years ago. I think it was one of the old PCW shows where I debuted a gimmick. But you could just tell his presence is just like that's the like level of respect he has,
yeah.
and it's all like earned, and it's like, yeah, fair enough, mate. Like he is one of the best, hands
If
down.
if it was a cartoon, when he walked in the room, all the lights would go on. It'd be like, oh, there you go. But yeah, man, I've noticed like obviously when I watch some of your matches, just because you mentioned it, I love that shit. Like you sort of say, putting the forearm, the face, for the pin. I've mentioned it many times on here. I'm a massive, massive mark for William Regal. I think the dude is, genuinely one of the best ever, not just from this country but in the world. And I used to be a massive fan of his podcast when he was in AEW, like Gentleman's Podcast or something like that. I believe it was
So
called.
like Gentry or something like that. I can't remember because I started watching some of his clips to try and pick a bit of his brain if I could.
Yeah, it was done through the Conrad family umbrella thing. It's like one of those ones,
Uh,
but Wrestling with a Gentleman or something like that. I think it's called.
mm,
But yeah, like one episode. Again, I've told this story so many times, but it just fits perfectly. Kind of, it's the perfect narrative for how he is or how we see him as a fan. He spent like 45 minutes talking about the importance of a pinfall.
yeah.
I was just sat there like on the edge of my seat, just like. But it kind of ruined wrestling for me as well a little bit because now I'm like, if I see somebody going for a pinfall and they're not being aggressive or they're not trying to win the match, it's kind of like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, that's it. Like when I first started training, the initial thing was your goal is to win.
Yeah,
Like make it look like proper. So like I've been trained by and shared locker rooms with like many like British industry legends or like veterans and stuff like that, and they'll always say to make it look believable. So like genuinely, it is something that holds true. I'm just trying to think now. But no, heat's getting to me. But yeah, there is a level to it of like make your stuff look like proper.
yeah.
Or in my philosophy, like I'll hit hard. I'll go for an aggressive style pin, and I'll try and make everything make sense as you do.
Because again, that's another thing. Like again, talking to people, the psychology side of things. I know learning the moves and like the foundations, the technique, and everything like that. That's fucking crazy hard. But I know the next thing is the psychology. The fact that some people still don't get it, some people obviously do get it. To me, that would be in my head the hardest thing to learn. That the importance of making something mean something, and
Mm.
the stuff that you do between the moves, that matters as well. You're taking that extra couple of seconds just to let something soak in. You're telling the story, kind of, and it's just
No,
crazy.
it's true. It's 100%. Like the thing is though, to be fair, I'll say this on it. Learning psychology is important because it then makes what you need to learn technically, fundamentally, and stuff like that. That then becomes not easier because it's still it's still challenging, but it makes it understandable in the sense of what you need to do as a wrestler for your gimmick, your character, and what you need to do in wrestling, where you are on the card.
That's it. It's just, yeah, I think it's just awesome. Like I say, it's just the art of telling the story. I mean, because at the end of the day, that's why people get into wrestling. You know, that's what kind of pulled us in. That's what keeps us keeps our attention. Is as great as, you know, like the 5-star matches can be. You know, exhibition matches and stuff like that. It's the stories. It's the things that happen. You know, the moments before or during or after a match. And if you've got that kind of a character where the fans can like either, you know, relate to it or hate it, you know, it just makes it a lot easier to get that reaction out of them.
100%. 100%.
So, which, you know, you've mentioned it earlier about promos. That's a massive part now, which, you know, probably wasn't 10 years ago. But you're definitely, you know, one of the guys I would class as, you know, the importance of a promo. You know, like I said, I've been through your Instagram. I've watched, you know, your promos. You cut a promo on somebody or about a show. It's kind of like, oh shit, yeah, this guy gets it. You know, he knows the importance.
Yeah, it's like with promos and stuff like that. Like it for certain places you work in, like I'll cut a promo with time on my hands. Like the importance of a promo is one. It's if the fans are like looking at that your sort of stuff as it is, it adds to a story. Tell the story through it. Like it could be the most basic thing you can tell, but at the end of it, if you get that promo across and it comes across well, storytelling gets easier. Or something like, again, I'm repeating myself, but storytelling is all the parts of it. Doing a promo, that is storytelling. Telling in a match, storytelling. Even at the end of the match, when you're going backstage, all storytelling. You got to think about every single thing to do easily.
That's the thing, though. It's kind of cool, you know. Obviously, like I said, you know, I can tell from your promos, you know, you get that. And for me, again, I'm not getting on my soapbox with this. For people who watch more than one episode, they'll have heard me say it all the time. Like social media, you know, things like Instagram mainly. I think is key. You know, if you're a wrestler, you've got that brand. You know, you want to advertise yourself, or you want to hype up a match. You want to sell some tickets. You want to get the promoters good books. You know, it's kind of like, why would you not cut a promo? Why would you not put, you know, a video on Instagram and
Exactly.
advertise yourself?
Exactly. Like when you start, like I'm of an old school mentality that you turn up to help out and work your way into it. But to show you want it, promos go such a long way, and a good promo at that. Because like there are promos out there and stuff. First, like you can tell they're trying, and I respect all of them. But again, it's a way of just like rather than your typical like holding it vertical in your nan's living room with the whole burgundy carpet. So like, there's level. Again, I'll say this. Went to university. I did a film degree, stuff like that, right? So the importance of storytelling is not just your character; it's your background, and obviously, I can be clever with bits and stuff of like edits and stuff like that, but what you say is important and where you say it's more important. So when I did my promo for the True Grit Rumble, I thought, right, this is one of the biggest debuts I've got. Let's make it absolutely ridiculous. Out in the hills, pecs out, getting my bicep pumping in the snow, the god awful snow. And then by the point I was doing it, I'm like, oh Christ, the sun's gone down. What do I do? Sod it, car on, car lights turned on, full beam, full whack, film the promo, and it was brilliant.
Dude, I remember that. That was awesome. Because that was proper again, though. Like you sort of said, it stood out. You know, people who weren't aware of who Ernest Boggs was. You know, you see that promo, and it's kind of like, oh shit, yeah, right, cool. I'm hyped to see him in the Rumble now. You know,
it also means you mean business. Like you're not here to like mess about, or it's like a tick. No, every promotion is important if you make it important.
yes.
Like you've got to make yourself stand out in this business because, especially nowadays, where like it's so easy to find a school, you've got to find that thing that helps you stand out.
Yeah.
And if you got to wear a leotard, a blooming tutu, or wear a silly hat, or wear tweed. In fact, I have said silly hat. Yeah, make yourself stand out, 100%.
That's it. If it works, dude.
That's it.
I've got to rewind back just to sort of, you made a mention of like people cutting promos, in the Nan's living room. I'm not going to take that as a besmirchment of Cash Money Sash.
No. No, I'm not making digs and stuff like that. Again, don't get me wrong, I'm working gimmicks, man, but no, like obviously if. Again, I occasionally do it from time to time, but it's like it depends on where it is or what the story is. So, like, if I did it for Zero Limits, actually, so I was working face for Zero Limits, and they wanted me to cut a promo, and they wanted me to cut it a certain way. So I thought, right, it's a newer promotion. It needs to look a bit more modern because I want to get myself over as the person of Ernest Boggs rather than the gimmicky side. So I thought, right, tilt the camera that way, but make the background make something interesting. I made a brew through that promo, and it was fantastic. But again, it depends where you're working. It also depends what the promoter wants. Like if it's something for like TikTok, Instagram, or whatever. To be fair, vertical can be better, but personal preference in the sense of being a film student or just general storytelling, like if you're watching it on your screen or a telly or whatever, you're better with your landscape shot than a vertical shot, easily.
Dude, I'm seriously sat here resisting the urge to sort of sidebar into films. The fact that as soon as you said about being a film student, I was like, if anybody knows me, besides us, my family and stuff, my kids, wrestling, comic books, films.
What's your favourite film?
That's my trilogy.
All right, I'm going to take the interview inside here. What's your favourite film?
Favourite film? I normally deal with top fives.
Okay, top five.
I'll make the exception for this because I always sort of say the greatest film ever made is True Romance.
True Romance? You know what's funny? I'm a film student. I can't recall that one.
Dude, right.
This is the irony. The irony is I have a film degree, but a lot of movies some movies that people point out to me, I'm like, what's that?
I bet the generic ones like 201 or fucking you like your Clockwork Oranges, your Shawshanks. Right, True Romance it's written by Quentin Tarantino, directed by Tony Scott. It's got Christian Slater, Rosanna Arquette, Val Kilmer, Christopher Walken, Dennis Hopper, Gary Oldman, Michael Rappaport, Brad Pitt.
I need to write this down.
Mate.
I need to write this down. True Romance, you say it was, yeah?
True Romance. Greatest film ever made, dude.
True Romance, right. I will write that down.
It's just, it's... Again, my little bit of film knowledge for you then. At this point, Tarantino wrote the script for True Romance and Reservoir Dogs. And it was a toss-up. It was a toss-up as to what film he would direct, what film Tony Scott would direct. So we very nearly got Reservoir Dogs directed by Tony Scott. And True Romance would have been directed by Tarantino, but they flipped it. So Tony Scott directed True Romance.
I am still learning my degree that I don't even use anymore. It's fantastic.
Sorry, man. Massive film.
I don't blame you, mate. I think it was last night. I was watching Green Mile. I love the Green Mile.
One of the few films that makes me cry. I legitimately still just when he starts singing when he sat in the chair, mate. I'm gone.
Mate, I think it's the final scenes and stuff like that. So me and my dad specifically, we love films and stuff, and I think that's where the connection is. Right. So he loves his Tom Hanks movies. So Forrest Gump, Green Mile, all that sort of stuff. So so back in the day when I was younger, we just used to sit and watch movies after school or in the weekends and stuff. But when I was older, Green Mile was one he put on for me. And I'm there what? Genuinely, I cried, and so does he. It's one of the few films that gets me.
Sam Rockwell is freaking amazing in that film as well.
He is genuinely fantastic.
Love Sam Rockwell. We will get back to wrestling in a minute, I promise. But
I'm here for this. I love it.
yeah, that was more for the people watching. The people that have tuned into this, be like, I thought we were going to talk wrestling. No, we'll get back to that in a minute.
Hey, I remember a podcast I did ages ago. We talked about how I got a free box of Yorkshire tea for like 10 minutes. It was great.
We'll save that for a bit later then. But you've asked me, what's your favourite film?
Favourite film, again, I would go off a list, but again, I'll pick one. So it was originally Green Mile, and it is still like the top tier film. Or if I could do a shared like number one.
Do a top five. Go on, I'll do my top five after.
Okay. So, top five. So number one, Green Mile. Number two, Somewhere in Time.
Oh.
So that one was a newer one, but I've never been more on the edge of my seat for a soppy love movie. I love it. I've never been on edge in my life, and I'm like, no, go back. Gran Torino, number three.
Oh, wow, okay.
Love a good Clint Eastwood movie. I'm trying to think now. I got excited. Number four. I want to say no because I haven't watched Kes in years, and it's not. I'm in Kimmick.
Yes, Full Monty.
To be fair, Full Monty is a good movie.
It is.
I love the Friday the 13th franchise, so can we bracket that as one?
Yeah.
Alright, so the Friday the 13th franchise for just how silly it is. And then number five, Forrest Gump.
Oh, wow, good shout. Yeah. That Tom Hanks connection again.
Yeah, absolutely, man. What about you then? Top five, go on.
What's top five? Obviously, True Romance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say Scream.
Oh, okay.
Same thing, obviously, you got Friday the 13th. I've got Scream for me. Scream relaunched the slasher genre in the 90s, you know.
Yeah.
It relaunched horror films as a whole kind of thing. I'm going to say, I think there's the difference between like a really good film and a film that you've watched loads. You know, it's enjoyable and then it's really, really good. So I'm going to say, my third film. So we've got True Romance, Scream, Chasing Amy.
Okay.
If you've heard of it.
Vaguely know of it.
Kevin Smith film, yep. And I'm going to say, Empire Strikes Back for the geekiness in me.
Brilliant. I love it.
And I am going to say Avengers Infinity War, just for the comic book geek. Just because of the size of it. When it was 10 years in the making, it was.
Jesus, yeah.
Nobody else has ever done anything like that. That was 10 years of cinematic history.
I mean, I remember when it came to like the Endgame film, right? And it was like, you know what's ironic? I still get funny looks every time I say it, and I know your reaction. Endgame was my first Avengers film. I told you, I'm the weirdest film guy you'll ever meet. Like I managed to like learn bits leading up to it from watching like clips and stuff like that. And I got majority of the plot. But I'm there like, I can't believe this is my first one, and it happens to be the most mental one there is.
The fact that, you know, if you said Infinity War was your first one, I might have got a bit of a reaction, but it kind of would have made sense. At least you're kind of coming in at the end, but at the start of the end. But you've just come in, like, you know, halfway through, like, the end of it. That was the reaction. That was like, what?
What can I say? I work them. Get a pop out of it. Merry Christmas.
Oh, buddy, that's amazing. But yeah, like I sort of say, you know, they're my top five. Any given day, you know, Happy Gilmore might go in there. You know, Empire Records, although, you know, you got your old schools. Like I say, you know, to be generic, you know, you got your Shawshank Redemptions, you got your Clockwork Oranges, you know, you got your Lethal Weapons. RoboCop, you know, that's Point Break. Sorry, Point Break should have been in my top. Fuck. Point Break's one of my favourite films.
Yeah.
So, I love all genres as well. I hate it when people limit themselves to just like,
No. The thing is, though, like, again, my list is a stark contrast. Like, the top one's like a fantasy mixed with like the dark realities of like death row. Then my second one is about a love story about some guy that trips himself out thinking he's in the 1800s to meet this one lass. It's fantastic.
It's across the board, man. It's same as with music.
Yeah,
I think it's something you do when you're younger. You kind of limit yourself to like one genre of music or something. But as you get older, you kind of get wiser. And it's like, oh, good music is just good music, regardless.
Yeah. So like, I'd say it just comes with like each age has like its own like phase. Like, there's a phase for rap music. There's a phase for like heavy metal, rock, and stuff like that. Then you get your classic rock, your classic like 80s hits and stuff like that. Then there's just I've reached the age where it's like I'm listening to all sorts now.
That's it. You just open it up, man. It's like, you know what? I'm not embarrassed to say I like a little bit of cheesy pop as well. Give me a bit of Wham. That's fine, you know.
Oh yes, mate. You should hear my car on road trips to shows, right? So it's normally me, another lad called Zach Walker, and then Primetime Jordan Kane, Liam Cafferty, and stuff like that, right? So I'm going on sidetrack anyway. So there's music we play. I don't really have a playlist anymore because again, it's too diverse. I can listen to anything, so I just put on like the random hits sort of thing, right? When a bit of Taylor Swift comes on, bit of Shake It Off, you bet your ass that there's a quartet going on. Windows down, everything. 500 miles? Yeah, sing that to the tops. All right, this one's my personal favorite. This one's a favorite. This is when I was going to a show in Scotland. I was in the car with Blaze, and me and Davey were just having a laugh. And he's proper giving it his all for some songs. Then I put on Ball of Confusion by The Temptation. He goes, "Hey, Boggy, you're keeping this one on. We're doing the other song of this." He's singing this on the way to the show. I'm like, yes.
That's amazing. But that's again, like this, that kind of brings us back to the whole wrestling side of things. I said, it's the driving to shows, it's being on the road with your mates. That's kind of like stories of old. When people like on about the road trips or just picking each other's brains, and that's the best time when you can work on your character. You kind of find out what works and what doesn't work because you're talking to other people. They're telling you, they're being brutally honest at times. They'll be like, "Oh mate, that didn't work. I wouldn't do that." Or yeah, that was cool.
No, 100%. Like, I think a lot of the people I've met and befriended on the road have come from like sharing cars with them or being invited up to this show or that show, stuff like that. Like, if you told me like 3 years ago I'd be meeting all these different people, it's like I wouldn't believe you. But like now it's like, oh my god, whose birthday? Oh, it's there's this many birthdays now on Facebook.
No, yeah, happy birthday, dude! Happy birthday, dude! Happy birthday, dude!
So it's got to be the wrestling line. Happy birthday, brother!
And then you've got Lee on there, Ref Lee. You have to message him every day, be like, "Happy birthday, dude! Happy birthday, dude! Happy birthday, dude!"
Where's that come from? Like, is it every day it's happy birthday? I'm confused. Like, what's the gimmick with that?
It was a stint. I'm going to blame I think it was the Fast Count peeps. Basically, like every show, I can't remember how it all started, but whenever Ref Lee came out, he just started singing Happy Birthday. And then it just escalated, like Nikki and Wrestling Jeeves would start it, and obviously they go to a lot more shows as well, so they continued it on. They continued it onto the shows that they were at, and I'm
gonna just say this: Jeebus, I love you. You are the best, and Nikki, you are also the best. Shout out to you both, you beautiful humans.
There we go. Bit of love for Jeeves and Nicks, but. Dude, yeah, so after that's the whole referee thing, and then we've got True Grit to like actually sort of play along with it, and I think they brought him out a birthday cake one time, and it wasn't even the birthday, and it was just like, yeah. So whenever I see Lee now, it's just like, happy birthday, dude.
I want him to ref my match now. I want him to ref my match now. I have ideas in my head now.
Don't keep him in there, man, because at some point,
you'll
have the zebra that is Mr. Referee. And well, shake his hand, 100%. Give him a hug. Happy birthday. Jobs are good. Right, I've got to rewind just because I'm not going to send somebody else to go off to watch or listen to another podcast. Yeah. You mentioned the thing about tea bags.
All right, this one's a good one. So it's a continuous story. So build up to this. You know when Yorkshire Tea did the collaboration with like some like company to design like the custom Xbox and PlayStation controllers. Yeah. So when that came about, and this is when I was getting in my stride with the Yorkshire gimmick, about 20 people added me, personal and wrestling account, to that thing, to the controllers. I'm like, right, how much is it? I look through. Huh? How much? I sack that. So I then go on Twitter saying, I've had about 50 people at me now. Can you send me one for free? So this is the response I got. Sorry, mate, not happening. All right, sound. So then after that, right, I thought, right, at this point, I want a sponsorship because at this point, I'm getting recognised for the... I've had people send me like photos or tag me on like Facebook or Instagram. Whenever they walk past like the tea or coffee aisle, they see that picture. Boggs, stop reminding me about you by accident. But again, works for me because I'm over. So it was at this point I thought, sod it, I'm sending an email. So I wrote an email out. I sent them the match with James Mason. Where I'm throwing tea bags at the crowd, getting all the heat. I get an email back. They say, unfortunately, Mr. Boggs, we cannot sponsor you at this moment in time. However, we would love to send you a box of Yorkshire Tea to help along with your wrestling journey. It's still It's still unopened. It's still in its packaging. There you go.
Wow. That is amazing.
And I'm still waiting for that sponsorship. Yorkshire Tea, you'd be daft not to.
Exactly. Why would you not?
I've worked at your factory and cleaned your building. I need it.
It's a genuine character. Then there you go. You're not just faking it. You're Mr. Yorkshire Tea.
I have cleaned that building. I have drank your brews and coffees in that building. Give me my tea bags.
A genuine man of the people, a man of the Yorkshire Tea.
I'm the man of Yorkshire.
Dude, that is amazing.
It gets funnier every time I tell it. Every time, because I still can't believe that that's still there, unwrapped.
That's it. That's a keepsake, mate. That's got to be.
It's untouched. If anyone opens that, I'm gonna kill them. Like, that's a genuine thing. If anyone opens that specific box, I'll do them in.
Can you imagine somebody just came round to your house and were like, oh.
I'd have to kick them out. Have to kick them out. I don't care who they are. They could be anybody. If you touch that box of tea bags, you're gone.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, man. Obviously, yeah. That's like I said, man. That's a keepsake. You've got to keep that. That's a memory kind of thing.
Even if it starts honking, I don't care. It's going in like I need to put in like a resin box or something like that.
I would have no idea what that is. Don't know. But that's it. Yeah. Well, talking keepsakes. That's another thing that's always kind of coming off for some reason. But yeah, that's another thing I always like to sort of pick people's brains. Like, when you're going through training, you're doing this, you're doing that. You sort of said, like 6 months in, you kind of like started working the shows. But it's when you get that first booking outside of your safety zone, that some other promotion has seen what you're doing, or they've heard of you, or somebody's recommended you, and they've reached out and been like, right, mate, we want you to, come on the show.
My first external booking was for Squared Circle Wrestling under Marty Jones. CJ Banks put me forward for that. as well as another one of his lads that he was training at the time. And I worked Bruce Sheila. Can't remember the other two. It was a tag match, but genuinely, I was nervous because it's like, what? What do you mean? I'm not used to this. But genuinely, I'll say it multiple times. CJ Banks is one of the main reasons I'm where I'm at with wrestling. He's a patient of a saint, great coach, fantastic wrestler. I know you're retired, CJ, but I want you in a ring. I know you're retired. One more. Sod your last match. I want you.
That's it. I mean, I managed to speak to a guy a couple of months ago, Mr. Supersonic Sammy Blue, who I believe was one of CJ's last matches. Yeah.
He was.
He's kind of like, he was like, can I claim to be the guy that retired him? I was like, no. You know, for wrestling's sake, you know, it's a great thing to hang your hat on. If you want to say
he's one of the last matches. No, the guy that retired him was one of the boys I trained with was Romy Kendrick. So Romy Kendrick's the one that retired him officially.
There we go. So, but yeah, obviously CJ is, you know, he's a staple of the wild class. As you know, he hung with like Joey Hayes, Danny Hope, Martin Kirby, Chris Travis. You know, those guys. It was just kind of like
best in the country, one of the best in the country, hands down.
Absolutely.
And my finish is stolen from his arsenal. So that goes to show like my respect for him.
Every match is a little tribute. That's just your little nod.
Yeah, just like have off with it.
Done. But yeah, that's it, man. That booking, you know, just getting that kind of like stepping out from your safety zone, like someone said, stepping in somewhere new. But for me, it's the validation, man. You know, somebody's got a slot. You know, we've talked about it earlier. You know, the state of British wrestling at the minute. There's so much talent out there, kind of thing. You know, somebody's looked at you, or somebody's recommended you, and somebody's looked and been like, "No, yeah, man, he would suit." You know, he's worthy of filling one of these 8 slots, kind of thing, or 7 or 8, 9 cards.
There is that, but I'm also a very believer in the old school methods of you turn up to help out.
Yes.
So, like, I get it. Nowadays, it's a lot easier to be recognized and be seen through social media. But to show your want and, like, dedication, and this goes out to anyone who's serious about wrestling and stuff like that, go out there. Go help that show you want to be on. Go do that. Go hand out flyers, give out posters, stick them up. Talk to your nan, talk to your dog, talk to your great Aunt Bessie. Stuff like that. Genuinely, the old school method still holds true, and it's genuinely tried and tested, and it's that for a reason.
Like I said, again, networking is one of my most common heard words. You know, it's what a lot of people sort of say to me. You know, regardless of how far into the journey they are, you know, they're like, you know, networking is one of the key things in British wrestling. You know, especially when you're getting started, or if you're just looking to expand your radius of bookings. You know, you've got to get out of your safety zone. You've got to go to a different county. You've got to go up or down, or you know, just make yourself known. Like say, help out at shows. You see it all the time at True Grit. You know, you see people, you know, ring crew kind of thing, or helping out during the show. And it's no coincidence, you know, maybe a few months later, oh shit, they're in the ring. They've got a booking. There we go.
Well, that's it. Like, I'm glad it's still visible, like that people are going to help out at different shows, but it's not as regularly seen as often as it used to be, unless they're part of the ring crew that's come with the van and stuff like that. But I like it when people are still tried and tested methods of showing up, helping out, and stuff like that, and showing that they want to do it. It's nice to see.
Well, we mentioned it earlier, obviously, when you know, like James Mason. I think, you know, it was a show that you was on at True Grit in York. You know, I was hanging around a bit afterwards talking to a few people. You know, I looked over, Lana Austin's helping taking the ring down. And I was just like, Jesus. Well, I think Nash was trying to help, but Nash was just being Nash. And, you know.
Oh dear.
Probably slowed it down a little bit.
Wrestling is always going to be a massive, like, functional or dysfunctional, however you want to word it. It's a big family one way or another. Like, we all help each other out. And this is one of the things I still live by to this day from when I started. Wrestlers help wrestlers. 100%. So, like, I can't remember who it was, but I was hungry as all, didn't have all to eat, and I forgot to get food that day. And the guy offered me a bit of his, like, lunch. I'm like, what are you doing? Don't be daft. He went, wrestlers help wrestlers eat. I'm like, yes, all right, no worries.
Yep, right, tell me twice. There we go.
Wrestlers help wrestlers, and that's something I still live by to this day.
Mate, that's awesome. I love that. But yeah, you know, I just mentioned in Nash there. Just as soon as I mentioned Nash, your reaction was like, "Yeah, pretty much says it all."
I love that. I love Nash. Nash is fantastic.
He said many a time the guy is just a walking antidepressant. It's crazy.
He is. Like, I don't know how he does it, but he's just a bag of smiles on legs. You can just be having a normal conversation with him, blurts out something random. Yeah, they're like, yeah, this makes sense to me.
That's the match. Oh, we were talking about fantasy booking beforehand as well. You know, that's the match I would love to see. You know, Mr. Boggs versus the Wing Commander. Maybe in Nash Boat Promotions whenever that gets launched.
Oh, man. Thing is, though, I couldn't. He's just too nice. He's too nice. I'd sit down. You know what? I've spoiled this. I'll have a cuppa with him. I'll just have a brew with him. I don't care.
Dude,
sit in that ring, cup of tea, Victoria sponge cake, belter.
Dude, wow. Bit of bollocks, but I can't think of the name of the cake. Bollocks. There's a sort of cake I always kind of associate with having a cup of tea. It's kind of like it's like a sponge cake. It's like pink and something else. It's like a
Victoria sponge, no?
No, it's like 4 squares. It's like one. It's a square. It's got like 4 squares.
It's Battersby,
Battersburg or something like that.
Summit Yorkshire.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, I want to see you and Nash sat in a ring, having a cup of tea, eating some of that. As a fan, you know what? I wouldn't even be disappointed. I'd be quite happy to sit there and watch that.
Perfect. I love that. Oh dear. Dude. I'm amazed no one's booked that yet.
If I'm in the lottery, mate, I'll start my own. That's it. You know, I'll fund Nash Boat Promotions. I'll let them guys run it, and then they can book that match. And we'll have Ace as a special referee or something. You know, just to.
Oh no! He's invited to the tea party. No, he's invited. Nash Boat are invited.
A triple threat tea party.
Exactly.
Mate, Battersburg cake eating competition. Battersburg cake eating. Cake eating competition. Boom. Jobs are good.
There goes my gym progress, like. But there you go.
Was this photo taken 3 years ago? No, mate, just eating too much cake.
Too much Yorkshire puddings in that one. Oh dear, man.
Dude, right, sorry, mate. I've got the mental image now of you and Nash sat down drinking tea, eating cake. We can't top that for me, dude. So, and I think I've kind of, I've kept you for an hour. We've managed to peak you and Nash eating cake in a ring, drinking tea. Dude, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on and just talking to me, mate.
Anytime, mate. Genuinely, you're a pleasure to speak to, my man.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Do you want to let people know where they can hit you up on the socials?
So socials, you got me Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever, Facebook page, stuff like that. TikTok, of course. Next place you'll see me, I don't know when this is going to be out, but it'll probably be already happened. July 20th, Rascals Pro Show. I'm in the main event against Rossi Rascal for the Rascals Heavyweight Championship. Sold out anyway. You're missing out. Next show though, you're gonna love it. It's not one to miss.
There you go. This will be out tomorrow, so it'll be out on Thursday the 17th. Quickly check the date.
Perfect.
There you go.
Rascal are battering you.
There you go. It's already sold out, so we don't need to hype it up. But yeah, if you're missing out on this one, get to the next Rascal show. Make sure you get those tickets in early.
Yes, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be good.
Oh, but obviously, the generic stuff from me as well. Thank you for watching. Hit like, subscribe, share, comments. Do all the stuff that we always ask you to do. Keep your eyes peeled for future guest announcements, future episodes. We've got Tim Strange, we've got Saxa, we've got the O5, we've got Casey Payne, people as well, other people that I haven't announced yet, coming up soon. But yeah, as always, thank you for watching, Mr. Boggs. It has been a genuine pleasure, mate. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, man.
No, mate, it's all good. And everybody out there, always remember, work the left side. Goodbye.